What's going on, guys? Another one from me, and today we are talking about sleeping bags, and in particular it's the Rab Neutrino XL version, which was the one I used on the Coast to Coast. Okay, so the Rab Neutrino actually comes in a range of sleeping bags, which is the 400, the 600 or the 800, and that basically relates to how much grams of down that they're putting into the sleeping bag. So this is the 400 version, so it means they're putting in 400 grams of down into the sleeping bag. Now in terms of the length then, so as mentioned, this is the XL version. The XL version comes in at 835 grams in total weight. What's beeping? Okay, so the XL version comes in at 835 grams in weight versus the regular version, which is 775 grams in weight. Now, that leads me on to the filling then. So with goose down, you're going to obviously get much better warmth to weight ratio. So with the goose down, it does mean that it's going to keep you a lot warmer, and it's also going to weigh less. So this sleeping bag is perfect for long hikes, and that's the reason why I bought it, because I took it on the Coast to Coast. The downside of that, of course, is it's very, very, very expensive. I think so this retails at £335 on the Rab website. However, you can look around and get bargains. But obviously it's very, very expensive. And that, I mean, comparative to sleeping bags in general, it's probably kind of a middle cost really, depending on what you're using it for. But I think for wild camping, it's definitely the top range. So in terms of then your temperatures, so this has a comfort rating of -1 degree Celsius, a lower limit rating of -7.5 degrees Celsius, and an extreme rating of 25 degrees Celsius. The comfort rating is really the one that you should be using to base your purchases on, and the lower limit is really a measurement of the temperature at which a standard male can remain asleep for up to 8 hours without waking up due to heat loss. And Rab have their own separate fourth measurement, which is kind of the Rab temperature measurement. But it's the comfort rating really is the one that I tend to look at, and so this goes down to -1, which is, it's going to be effectively a 3-season sleeping bag. Obviously everyone sleeps differently, and so this might not be for everyone. So those temperature ratings are a guideline, so it's not to be taken as sacrosanct. Now this sleeping bag comes with a hood on top, and not everyone may not like sleeping with a hood on top, but it does mean that it stops the heat, or it traps the heat loss from your head. Because the idea of a sleeping bag is not that it warms you up, but that is it traps the body heat that you give off to keep you warm. And then so that means that actually finding the right size for you is really important. If a sleeping bag is quite loose fitting, then it's not going to keep you as warm, because there are going to be more spaces in it for the heat to escape and move around. So, and hence this leads me on to the next point, which is this is actually classed as it's called a mummy taper design. Now I'll lay it out so you can see it properly. But so it actually tapers towards the end of your feet, and it's basically what it's doing is keeping your limbs close together, so that your body heat is more retained. And of course that has the impact of you're not going to be able to move. It's going to be quite restrictive. However, it's going to keep you nice and warm. So again, yeah, sleeping bag size is absolutely key when making a purchase. Okay, so in terms of the materials it's made from, it is made from the Pertex Quantum fabric in terms of the outer fabric, which isn't completely waterproof, but it is very breathable, and it will stop some water being absorbed into the bag, so it's water resistant, so the water should bead off. Now these bags are all made in Derbyshire, and they are hand filled with goose down, so you know that you're getting something which has been handcrafted and has been thought with the user in mind in terms of when it's been made, which is something that is something that you want as a buyer, and you know that these guys have got a lot of experience. Obviously, Rab Carrington is the kind of the guy who invented this stuff, and he was an expert climber. So these products are definitely being made with the kind of end user in mind, by people who are very experienced in the business. So in terms of the down that goes into the sleeping bag, as mentioned, 400 grams goes in here, hand filled into the sleeping bag. It's Nick Wax hydrophobic down, which means that it's been treated so that it absorbs less moisture, and the moisture that it does absorb, it dries out quicker. And this is really important with down. As you know, down when wet, it doesn't work as well. The way down works is that it's light, so it's great for sleeping bags to make them lighter weight, and it has amazing warmth to weight ratio. However, if it gets wet, it doesn't trap heat as well, which is how it works. it misforms the shape of the feathers, and so they can't absorb, they can't trap the heat as well. And the way this works is that it actually stops moisture coming in, and when it is wet, it dries a lot quicker. So the hydrophobic treatment is something definitely to look out for. So Rab sleeping bags are basically made in terms of RDS, which is a standard for responsible down standard, which means that the animals that it's sourced from, the birds, they're not being used and abused. They're looked after. They're not being force fed. They are not being plucked when they're alive, and that's something that ethically is obviously important, and it just means that the birds come from a sustainable farm and they've had good quality of life. Now, some sleeping bags will say that the down is ethically sourced, but it doesn't mean it's RDS. So it's just something to look out for if that's something that you're concerned about. And certainly for me, I think that's definitely a factor in purchasing something like this. So going on to the next thing, it has the zip. So it has a baffle here. So it has a 3/4 length zip, and as you zip this right up, the baffle, you can actually attach this with a Velcro element here. So it's like a storm kind of proof. It stops drafts kind of coming in. And then you have the cord also here, so you can actually pull it in tighter if you want it to fit more snugly around you. And also, there is somewhere to put your mobile phone in here, which is pretty cool. Here, so a little pocket for just tucking in your mobile phone, which is quite cool, or your water filter, because as we know, when they get cold, they can crack. And the zip, you can actually zip from both sides of the sleeping bag, so it also has a zip at the bottom as well as at the top. Okay, so I'm just going to lay out the sleeping bag now on the ground so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so what does it come in then? It comes in a cotton sack to keep it in, which is recommended for storage so that you're not meant to scrunch down feathers down because you can damage them. So when you're storing it at home, you can keep it in a cotton sack, which I'll show you now. And also it comes with a waterproof stuff sack, which I will show you in terms of how small it packs down now. I'll put it away. Okay, so I've stuffed it down into the sack, and now, because this is a waterproof dry sack, and it just clips like so, and it packs down into something that big, which I think is pretty impressive. I'll show you it next to my Berghaus Sennen 200, which weighed 1.6 kilos. This is 0.8-ish kilos. Just so you can see the size difference as well, and often sleeping bags can take up a lot of room in your rucksack, so it's nice that this can actually fit down smaller into the rucksack. What I would say is if you want any more information about the Rab sleeping bag, go onto their website because they have so much information on there, and if you're thinking about getting one, they'll tell you everything about the history and how they make them. It's really, really useful. One issue I did have with this, so in terms of negatives, was on the coast to coast, I did catch it on the end of my tent, which, being a taller person, was because the tent wasn't large enough, so it did hit the outer, so the inner, which had contact with the outer, and it did get some moisture on the end of the sleeping bag. It's not a negative, really, because it seems fine. It's not lost any of its kind of sort of warmth properties on the end of the feet there. So it's obviously the hydrophobic down treatment is working really well there. Obviously the price is obviously very expensive, but to be honest, I've not regretted buying this one bit. I think it's fantastic. I've got loads more room in my rucksack now. It's super light. It's super warm. The reason I got this was in terms of the warmth for the weight of it, and I wanted something for the coast to coast walk. It was very, very expensive. However, I also wanted it to use it in sort of in the winter, and it's not necessarily a 4-season sleeping bag. However, I think you could potentially take this out with a decent sleeping mat with a good R value and a decent tent and lots of layers. You could use this in the winter as well, and I do plan to do that. And I think just one other thing that I didn't like about it, when I was using it on the coast to coast, I found that it didn't cling to my body. So when I moved around in it, I found that I was often sleeping on the zip, but it's a minor complaint. In terms of other products that you could get, I've actually started looking at quilts now, and obviously with a quilt you don't have the hood, which was going to make it much lighter even than this. But some people like having a hood and some people don't, so it just depends on your preference. Two of the main ones are, I've seen a company called UGQ make a quilt called the Bandit, which is, I'll have to check the price, I'll post the link below, but it has a similar comfort rating as this sleeping bag, and also obviously it's down-filled as well. And you've got the synthetic quilt by Astucas. So there are a number of quilts that obviously seem to be making a big kind of are becoming more and more popular now. So that's definitely something I would have considered had I thought about it in more detail before this. But as mentioned, I did want something for the winter as well, and I do really like the hood. I like feeling kind of cozy, and you wouldn't necessarily get that with a quilt. Okay, so just to wrap up for me then, thanks so much for watching, guys. As I said, I've got over 100 subscribers now, so really, really grateful for that. So thank you so much. If you like this video, hit the thumbs button, and also please hit subscribe if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate it. Any more support you can give me. And if you've got any comments, please leave them below. I'll post all the links to the Rab website and everything I've mentioned below. But until the next video, guys, thanks again for watching, and see you on the next one.